I want to see the Berber. I want to see the Berber puppet.
Look. So this here. It's Berber marionette.
Wow.
You want this? Or this
And a
one?
Berber is a shepherd. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
I'm Amanda Barnes and I'm a wine writer on a mission. I'm travelling to 80 different wine regions around the world to discover what makes each region and their wines unique. We'll leave no stone unturned, no grape unsqueezed, and no wine undrunk. This is Around the World in 80 Harvests. So how did I end up in Tunisia? It's all down to a lawyer from the US called Kathy, who, like many foreigners, had become fascinated by Tunisia's progress since its revolution in 2010.
This is a brand new democracy, and for someone like me from the United States, watching the creation of a brand new country and a brand new democracy, seeing them write their constitution, it's just been an amazing experience.
When I planned my 80 wine regions around the world, Tunisia wasn't one of them. As a Muslim country, wine is normally off the menu. But Kathy wanted to convince me otherwise, so here I was during the harvest season, in peak summer with temperatures averaging around 40 degrees Celsius each day. Before getting into the harvest though, I wanted to start at the beginning. Home to one of the great ancient civilizations, naturally I had to start at Carthage.
We're just looking for our guide here in the Roman Baths of Carthage. The Ministry of Tourism have sent us a guide. This must be him. It's 10 a.m. and it's already about 45 degrees, so let's do this quick. Hello!
Welcome you to Carthage. We welcome you to the symbol of the Tunisian history, and it's also the symbol of our Tunisian agriculture.
Magon was the first agronomist, the first viticulturalist in the world, and he was here from Carthage?
Yes, he was from Carthage, and as I said, a part of that, he was considered as a great traveler. He traveled a lot. The Carthaginians, and then after that the Romans knew and cultivated the grapes. They did have the three kinds of wines, the red, white and rosé wine.
So these are the Roman baths, and people would come here, they'd have a cool dip over there, a hot bath there, end up in the sea. Would they ever bring a glass of wine?
Yes, they did. They brought their meal, their food with them, and their wine. They really enjoyed spending all the day in thermal baths.
Well, for me, it looks like a nice place to have a picnic.
Yes, yes.
Fortunately, I had my own liquid picnic ready. Well, sort of ready.
Finally done. Yeah. À votre santé.
We're going to have a lot of help.
Yeah. Prost. Prost.
Prost. Na zdravie.
Na zdravie.
Salud.
Salud.
Salute. Cheers.
Cheers.
Tunis has been a trading capital since 300 BC, and trade is still roaring in downtown Tunis. We headed to the food market and through to the ancient Medina, the marketplace which is a UNESCO heritage site founded some 1400 years ago. The Medina is spread over 270 hectares and can be quite hard to penetrate alone, so I had an idea.
When we were in the market the other day, we met this young photographer, Amza, who took some pictures of me at his lemon stall. And then when I checked out his Instagram, I saw all these crazy lemon portraits, and I thought, I've got to hang out with this guy. Amza!
Hey, hello.
Hello. How you doing? Sorry, I'm very Mediterranean.
Okay.
We're talking about his life story through Google, because he's recording in Arabic I'm reading it in English and then I'm responding in English, and this is the quickest way for us to talk. We're both 31, Amza, Amanda. Everyone knows me in Tunisia that I love photography and lemons.
لا.
Et citron.
Et citron.
This is the Medina
L'Antique.
Historique, okay,
Ouais.
l'Antique. Right, I love this. This is just so beautiful. I mean, this is solid. It's just gorgeous. And you have to get off the tourist route to find this, so I'm glad that Amsa's taken us here.
I got quite over-enthusiastic about the beautiful doors and architecture, which seemed to get better around every corner. As Amsa took me further into the Medina, he introduced me to some of his friends.
Aslema, hello.
Okay,
Aishik, thank you.
okay.
Not all of whom I managed to impress.
Aslim.
منه بشوش هذاك.
I'm a terrible football player.
Football career in ruins, we moved on quickly, and Amsa took me to see some of the street art, which he explained is a rather new phenomenon.
So, Amsa was saying that this was all painted by foreigners from Italy, Spain,
Elle fait la
different
danse
places.
comme ça, que
And they all came here for like a big music and dance festival and painted this in 2012 and 13. So after the revolution.
An end to censorship following the revolution meant that the new generation could now freely express themselves, which for Amsa meant buying a camera and taking up photography to capture the everyday happenings in the Medina.
Amanda, fais comme ça.
Today, though, I seem to be the unwitting muse. Myself, doors, and of course, lemons.
To my new career in lemonade.
But I wasn't here for the lemonade. An hour south of Tunis is Cap Bon, where the majority of Tunisia's wine production comes from, and has done for a very long time.
We made wine more than 2,000 years. So Punic, Carthaginian, and Roman make wine in this and do the harvest in this region. And this region, the soil is clay and limestone. It's good for vineyard. For example, when you taste our Chardonnay, is different the Chardonnay of another country. We have a sea at 20 kilometers, and the wind, minerality of the sea come in the vineyard. So we have very mineral Chardonnay. It's typical in this region.
What was atypical that day was the heat. Tunisia isn't alone in having a hot 2017 vintage, but the heat spikes were particularly high because of the Sirocco, a hot wind blowing from the Sahara Desert that had pushed the temperatures up over 50 degrees centigrade. Fortunately, the vineyards are trained to deal with the heat.
You see the vegetation of a plant. It's not like in France or why? Because it's very hot. We have to protect our grape from the sun and from the Sirocco wind, the hot wind. For that, we have to need big vegetation.
As the heat continued to pick up, the morning's harvest was coming to an end, and lucky for us, lunch and wine tasting awaited at Domaine Nepheris.
So we're having a typical Tunisian lunch, which started with appetizers on the sofa about 2 hours ago, and 5 wines. And now we've moved to the table. We've got another series of kind of appetizers or starters here. First, I have to start with the harissa, the chili harissa, then the salad, then the shrimps, then the stew, then the fish, and then the pasta. So we'll be here another 2 hours.
Four hours later, we finished lunch, and headed over to nearby Septune's winery to taste their wines, which meant indulging in even more food and Tunisian hospitality. Although Tunisia has been making wine for thousands of years, the quality revolution only really started in the 19th and 20th centuries, during the French occupation, when modern winemaking techniques were introduced. Tunisia's warm and sunny climate means that grapes have no trouble ripening, which gives the red wines lots of colour, fruity aromas, and higher sugar levels, which means they can be rather generous in alcohol. The red wines can pack such a punch that rumour has it the French used to blend Tunisian Syrah into their own. What is for certain, though, is that Tunisia's Syrah, Carignan and Touriga Nacional perform particularly well, making voluptuous aromatic wines that pair nicely with flavourful Tunisian dishes like roasted lamb and couscous. On the lighter spectrum, over 65% of Tunisia's wine production is rosé, which range from fuller-bodied wines to light and delicate. They also make a small amount of aromatic white wines, which benefit from being in regions closer to the ocean breeze. Despite its long history, Tunisia's wine industry still feels in its infancy, with much potential as of yet unexplored. This is because during centuries of Arabic rule, Tunisia went almost completely dry.
So we're here in Kairouan at the mosque, which is one of the most sacred sites of Tunisia. So tell me about the Great Mosque.
This is the principal mosque in Africa, about 670, about 1,400 years old. And the four holy cities, Kairouan, Mecca, Medina, Jerusalem, and Kairouan.
And why is it important for men to pray more than women?
Yeah, the tradition before, only women men go to inside of mosque, women go outside of the house. Now the mentality changed for women and men.
The changing attitudes in Tunisia have also affected wine consumption, and we went to the first wine club in Tunis to learn more. So tell me your experience as a Tunisian drinking wine.
20 years ago, it isn't casual to see women drinking in Tunisia, you know. We start with whiskey in nightclubs and like that. But after, I saw now since 10 years, because there is a lot of wineries now in Tunisia, so many women drink wines. They started with wine, not other alcohol. So now it isn't strange to drink, but 20 years ago, yes.
Did the revolution change any kind of attitude?
Not really, but we saw in the new generation more people drinking, women drinking more, and especially wines and rosé. After the revolution, what I know from winemakers, that the level of consumption of wines, it's growing more, like 30% in the beginning,
wow.
Just after the revolution, yeah.
Wine is losing its taboo in modern-day Tunisia and finding its place back on the table, which is already crowded with lots of delicious flavours that embrace its Mediterranean, African and Berber heritage, as one of Tunisia's top chefs explained to me.
Since we have been invaded by many civilizations, so we have a very big historical culture of the food, and that's why you can see the table of the Tunisia. We have small dishes, and because we want to remember that this is from Spanish, and this is from Malta, and this is from Italy, and this is from Ottoman, and this is from Phoenicia. We want to have all these historical on our table. For the Tunisia, we are really proud to have all this background of historical way of living, because the table is one of the main thing that we live for, to have good food. We want to have a good life. We want to have, we have a beautiful land. We have a beautiful country. We have beautiful products. We have beautiful tourism. We are a land of peace. So we offer to our neighbor what we have the best. So if my friends or my neighbor wants to have red wine, and the other one wants to have rosé, we just have fun and say, Saha. We just appreciate to share all these good things together. I mean, we just love life and history of Tunisia.
And that's how I felt. In Tunisia, it's all on the same table. The good, the bad, the rosé. The contrast is stark in Tunisia, but that is what makes it all the more colourful. As I got ready to move on to my next wine harvest destination, I felt that a week here had only just whet my appetite for this unique country on the crossroads.